So here we are with part 7 of these videos on designing a magazine cover. And here's the bit where we move on to the editor's letter or editorial. And again, as with the last video, I'm not going to show you particular software skills. I'm going to talk about the ways to approach this by looking at examples. So this particular example here, and I'll provide you the link to this on your lesson plan on the planner, so you can get access to this, so you can actually read what's put in there. Because the first thing to think about is what sort of things do you actually write about. Well, you can have viewpoints. It can be a mix of things about yourself, things about the magazine, the growth of the magazine development, but also political sort of things, or things that happen in society, or things that are relevant really to the magazine. That's what you want to talk about, and this gives you a good example of that. But as well as looking at content on this, I want you to see that this is simplistic in its design. I'm not so sure about this header being cut off there where it says letter, but the idea of an image at the top, an editor's letter. Don't forget this is a web page and not actually a print copy of it, so it may look a bit different in print. And the idea of the use of fonts and the use of size of fonts, which is really important here, because this assessment piece is all about the correct principles. So it's all about contrast, it's all about repetition, it's all about alignment, and it's all about proximity. So you've got to get your text sizes right, you've got to make sure that everything's aligned, this is all left aligned, we can see the space in between paragraphs is all good, and all those kinds of things. Forget the advert at the bottom. But the use of this first letter capitalization on the paragraph here, we've got that one there is following on from some of this fonts, but it's a different size. Then we've got a different font here. We've got a smaller font down there. So that gives you some ideas there. But it doesn't really represent the print copy. It's just getting you to start thinking of something simplistic. So if we look at some examples here, a variety of examples, you can see that I've just done an image search for editor's letter magazine. Here, this one on the left here is a very simple example. We're using an image. We're using, again, this large first letter of the paragraph being in this large font like that. That can be a good idea. And it's not exceptional in design, but it does follow correct principles, and it allows for this large portion of text, because the thing that you have to appreciate is you have to get 2 sides of A4 worth of text in this assignment. And if you look at what you've already done already on the cover page and the contents page, you're probably nowhere near that. So this is where you need to get this in. So when we look at these particular examples here, that's allowing one big block of text down the left there. And then we look at another example down here. You've got a big block of text, but it's done in 2 columns. Or if we come over to this one on the right, another simple example, we've got 2 big blocks of text where they've decided to do a larger left-hand column than a right column, brought the image in line with the right column, and then they're using this large font and the first letter being in an even larger font there. So that's quite interesting. Look at this one here where they've used the green and the black and the image and then a quote down there. You could do something like that. You could bring in some other images like this example here, but you don't want images to dominate the page, especially at the expense of the text, because the text is the most important thing here in here. That there, I really don't want you to do something like that. That's probably not very well designed. You don't have to do a 2-page spread like this. That's not necessary. That example here is quite nice with this text box between 2 paragraphs or between 2 columns like that. That's quite nice. But you don't have to do that. It's not going to get you more marks or anything like that. It is about making sure that everything is following correct principles, as we've already talked about. So something like that there's quite nice, but the trouble with that is that there's probably not enough text there to actually get you to your 2 sides of A4. Similarly, this one here is a bit more of a abstract design, but again, we've got problems with the amount of text. So you've got to think about this. You've got to think of that balance. So I don't want you spending hours designing something that's so abstract or out there. I want you to make sure that it's functional and it works and it does the job. So by all means, bring images in. I don't just want some page of text, but you do want to make sure that you fulfill the 2 sides of A4. Okay, thank you.